Hello and welcome back to Suspense Animation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time it's the newly released movie Bill and Ted Face the Music, or Bill and Ted 3. Uh, yeah, however you want to call it there. So before I get started, let me take care of some business and then we'll get to the non spoiler version. So if you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you're going to see a video that pops up at the very end here. And basically, what that does is YouTube takes all the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best possible on the videos, my vast video library, and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit the subscribe button down there. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. You'll see the schedule up there that I post every week. And I also have all the links to my social media. So Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. No tier set up as yet on the Patreon. I do have some stuff in the works, for once I hit 1,000 and all that stuff. And yeah, so I do have that working. And let's see, I also have the link to this Facebook page and, excuse me, my YouTube page. I also have a link to a Facebook page and a Facebook group page where you can chat and post stuff and things like that. So let's do this, shall we? So yes, it is Bill and Ted Face the Music is out in theaters for those of you who are brave enough to risk, going out with all the idiots that are most likely going to take off their masks during in the theater and get you sick. But the best thing is it's also on video on demand. So what does that mean? So for 25 bucks, I think it's 24.99 is what I paid. You own the movie. Yeah. So you can watch as many times as you want. You have all the different features on it and stuff like that. Everyone has it pretty much. Amazon has it, Voodoo, Movies Anywhere, Google Play, Apple, all those guys. You can buy it from anybody, and it's all the same price. And it doesn't make any difference what version. I mean, what resolution, because they're all 24.99. So if you're a big Bill and Ted fan, or if you're just a Bill and Ted fan in general, if you've seen the first two movies and you're going to see the third movie anyway, just buy it. Go for it. Is it worth your time in that respect? Yes, it is. If you're not a Bill and Ted fan, if you're just a casual, fan, say you've never heard of Bill and Ted, or you just are coming into this whole thing and you think it's kind of silly anyway, save your money. So it is a nostalgia film. I'm going to say this right now. Everyone's back for the most part. Those, of course, who aren't dead are back. And yeah, so you have that going into this. It's silly. It's Bill and Ted. So it is a silly concept. And, it's for that respect, that's what it is. Um, and it plays that way too. It plays very kind of 80s, if you will. And the guy who directed this also directed Galaxy Quest, great movie. And you can see some kind of attempt at the same kind of level of movie in there, and it just doesn't quite get there. But that's not a problem. I mean, really, what this is, it's a time travel movie uh, about, regret, I guess you could say, or not even regret, of obligation, family, and tying up loose ends is what it is. And yes, it is. If you're a big fan of this movie, you are going to get the feels for it at some point near the end of it. I did, so uh, there you go on that one. That's all I can say about it without really going into the specifics of it. So, for those of you who are still on the fence about it, so that's the non spoiler version of it. So, is it worth your time? If you're a fan, yes. If you're not a fan, no. That's where it comes down to. So, now, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the movie. If you haven't seen it, go and watch the movie and you can come on back. This will be a video, and then you can comment down below in the comment section. All right. Yeah, we got that. Okay. We down with spoilers? Okay. Um, so you could tell what was going on with this movie and what the premise of this movie of Bill and Ted having to write the song that was supposed to unite, the world, and basically the universe and all that kind of stuff. Um, and you could pretty much tell what was going to happen about, I would say, about 15-20 minutes into the movie of who it was. It wasn't Bill and Ted that actually write the song, it's their daughters that do. And that Oh, you could see that coming. I mean, but it's still great to see them actually going through, and they're gonna steal the song from themselves because, of course, they've been trying for 25 years to come up with this song, and it's not like they've been slacking around. They've actually been trying, and they've actually absorbed a shit ton of music and musical styles, music theory, all this stuff, and they've imparted it onto their daughters as well. Um, but it's taking a toll on their married life. So what's going on with them and the princesses? Um, and then also just, they don't have regular jobs because of course they're just trying to uh, write this song. And so they decide to go into the future and see who they can just steal the song from themselves. And of course, hilarity ensues from there. Um, yeah, so having Rufus daughter, I guess you could say, in this movie. I don't know where I was on that one. I just kind of was like, whatever. I wasn't hit by nostalgia as much by that as I was by the I don't know. I don't even know if it was nostalgia that could hit me. It was like, uh, I think it was just the message near the end, that um of them uh kind of pulling things together and just working towards that end, and I think that actually was more of a nice touch. I know a lot of reviews right now are saying this is the movie that everyone, the world needs right now and all that kind of stuff. Eh, Really? I don't know. It was an okay movie. Um, it was fun in parts, but it was better than Bogus Journey. I'll say that much right now. It's a lot better than Bogus Journey, but there was a lot of things that were kind of mired, that were stuck in the 80s, if you will. And I would have rather have seen them, I don't know, kind of grow a little bit in their personas. You could still have the same characterizations, but have them grow a little bit more in their personas. And I think the script, that's what it was, that suffered a little bit from it. So Apple Crow says I quite enjoyed it, but I'd give it 4 stars out of 5 as a Bill and Ted movie. Yeah. Um, I would say, yeah, probably, I would say, yeah, same thing, Apple Crow, 4 out of 5. Yeah, somewhere around there. Um, the daughters we didn't get much of, and so we didn't get much of build up from them other than they were going through time and collecting a whole bunch of historical musical figures in order to bring them, and Kid Cudi, because he's not really a historical musical figure, and bringing them, of course, to the present in order to make this song. So yes, I did see the writers' cameos as demons. Apple Crow, I thought that was kind of funny as well. So they were demons within hell, but the whole, I mean, in order to get death back, of course, they've got to go and die. And you saw where that was coming, and the whole thing with the robot. Um, yeah, I was like, all right, I know where this is going. I know they got to go to hell, and yeah, I mean, Bogus Journey actually did hell a lot better. It was more visual. It was a lot better looking, and also having the giant devil there when they're doing the sign of the devil and all that stuff, which I thought was pretty fucking funny in order to get his attention. Um, how do I feel about Dennis the robot? The robot named Dennis. That didn't bother me. I started laughing actually, is what it was, Apple Crow. And by the way, the guy who plays the robot, Dennis, is Mr. Zazaz from Gotham. the bald guy. He plays a villain in tons and tons of shit. But I had to look up who it was because he's really short. And yeah, that's who plays the robot. Yeah. Um, and the whole thing of having the future leaders of the world, sending back a robot to kill Bill and Ted because they think that they are the reason that they have to kill them in order to stop the time stuff from happening, the time from falling apart was just kind of stupid. I mean, they already know they're in the future. They already know what's supposed to happen, right? So, I mean, that just didn't make any sense right there. And I was like, okay, that's just the MacGuffin in order to get them to hell. Is they have to die to get to hell so that they can find death. So you can introduce, William Sadler again and bring him back. Things seemed a little bit rushed in the movie too. I mean, I know they had a certain time limit, um, which I thought was kind of funny. They the time limit on their clock was pretty much the time limit for the movie, and so things felt a little bit rushed. Uh, the the versions of themselves in Dave Grohl's house, that actually kind of cracked me up more so than the prison scene. The prison scene was it was a little too far over the top for me on that one. Apple says, I feel like they dropped a thread where the destruction of the fabric of time was due to the robot chasing Bill and Ted around, zapping everything else. Um, no, no, it wasn't that. That was just because the song was supposed to come about, and they mentioned this. They said that Rufus had the theory that at that point in time when the song gets released is a nexus point for time, and everything hinges on it. And if it doesn't happen, then of course time falls apart and time collapses in on itself. They said it fairly quickly, but I caught that, and actually I follow the time stuff that they're talking about fairly easily, which I have to give props to Kid Cudi on that one. Having to regurgitate a whole bunch of quantum mechanics and physics like that is not an easy thing, and he did a great job on that. So I'll give him that. And then also he worked in the word station, which was pretty funny. Applecrow says, I meant that that was an explanation of why it was falling apart when they skipped. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I think they figured, like I said, the great leader thought that by killing them, that was actually something that would stop the time quakes or the time uh, implosion, if you will. So yeah. But no, it was just that the girls needed to come up with their song. Uh and that Bill and Ted are just supposed to be there. But see, that's the whole thing that they kind of glossed over in the end of the or the end of the second movie. You see, um, they had created all these albums, and of course, gone to space, and they had actually aligned all the planets and everything like that. So they actually had done the song by the end of the second movie, but then they go and kind of retcon that at the beginning of this movie, saying that no, while they had a great hit with the first album, they never made the song that was, uniting the world, which I thought was kind of a cop out on that one. So I don't know. I know they said that Matheson and Solomon, the writers, actually had come up with the idea about 10 years ago, and they kept refining it here and there. And I don't know if you recognize that one of the producers is Steven Soderbergh. So yeah, they got some really good backing behind them money wise in order to get this movie made. So yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of things that were good in it. There were some things that, you know, weren't so good. But there's few and far in between. Nothing that I'm gonna, go off of. Yo dude says, long time no see. I heard that it was okay to jump into this movie without seeing the first two. Your thoughts? No. Um, you need to see at least the first movie in order to get what's going on with this one. Yo dude. They do explain a little bit of it, but you're not gonna you won't get a good majority of it. There's a lot of stuff in there that references the first movie and even a little bit of the second movie. So yeah, you definitely need to watch the first two movies in order to get this. Otherwise, what's the point? Why do you go into? I mean, you can go into Jaws 3 without seeing Jaws 1 and 2 because Jaws 3 is just crap. But you can't go into Return of the Jedi without seeing, Star Wars and Empire or New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. I mean, you could go into what is it, Rise of Skywalker without seeing the first two because quite honestly, no one really cares. Yeah. It really doesn't make any sense anyway. So, um, yeah. But no, you definitely need to see the first two at least in order to get what's going on here in number three. So, so is it worth your time? Again, like I said, if you're a fan, yes, it is. If you're not a fan, no, it's not. It's not worth your time. Dude says, well, to be fair, you probably could with the Fall of Skywalker. They kind of erased everything. Yeah, that's true. They did erase everything for the first two. You're right. Exactly. Yeah, you can if you're a total psychopath, is what Ben says. Yeah, there's some things that tie together in this that don't pay off unless you see the first two movies. Dude. Otherwise, you're gonna go, "Who the fuck's that guy?" You know, really, that's what you're gonna do at one point, and you're gonna go, "Why is that important?" And yeah, so yes, there's a lot of shorthand that's already been done for you for the first two movies going into this third one, so they don't explain anything when you're going into the third one. Because they figure you've already watched the first two, and this is basically a fan service movie is what it is. It's a total fan service movie, and everyone involved knows this. They are aware of it, and they're having fun with it, and that's pretty much what it is. We're not going to see these characters ever again um, on the big screen, especially not by Reeves and Winter. Um, well, we might see it in animation or comics or something like that further down the line. Who knows? But yeah, with movies, this is going to be the last movie, quite honestly. Unless they decide to do a spin-off with the daughters, which would be very ill-conceived, quite honestly. They just weren't built up enough in this movie that I cared about them at all. I was just like, okay, so yeah, I know, I knew early on that they were going to be the reason for the song being made, but at the same time, they didn't carry it for me. They were like, and the actresses even said they had never seen the other movies before, and they didn't watch the movies when they were filming for this because they didn't want to be influenced by what happened in those movies to how they played the role, and it shows. Quite honestly, they kind of played the characters like the dads a little bit, but it was kind of vacant too. And I'm saying I've seen Samara Weaving do a lot of really good stuff before, and this was kind of her lesser film that she has done. I've never seen the other girl who plays, Ted's daughter before, so I couldn't tell you. And again, like I said, they're in it for so little of the airplay that it's not. Yeah. Applecrow says Ted's daughter seemed much more the mannerism than Bill's. Yeah. Samara Weaving did a lot of the facial expressions of Bill, the kind of the quizzical blank look. That's what she was doing most of. If you take a look at her face when she's doing it. But yes, I agree with you. The one who played Ted's daughter was doing more of the mannerisms because Ted's a little more animated and he moves around a lot. He does that whole body thing. I was doing too much head movement there, but he does do the head movement too. When he's not doing the body, he does the whole head movement thing. And I've seen the movie way too many times. The first movie, like I said, I could quote it. And yes, unfortunately, Keanu Reeves actually had a lot of those mannerisms left over when he did a couple other movies later on after that. So yeah. But again, is it worth your time? Again, if you're a fan, yes. If you're not, probably not. You could probably wait till it comes out on cable or something like that when it's not 25 bucks. Yeah. I mean, 25 bucks is still cheap. That's a DVD buy, a brand new DVD buy is what that is. So, um, granted, I mean, Bloodshot was cheaper at 20 bucks, and that was still too expensive, like by $20. Yeah. It's been a long week, by the way. So, yes, this is beer that I'm drinking. It's a marshmallow milk stout, is what that is from Garage Brewing. If you're interested in trying something else out there. There we go. So, what else do I have going on this week? Tomorrow is Saturday morning blast off, where I take the genre news of the week and other genre stuff you guys want to talk about when we talk about it. I'm basically going to be wrapping up DC's fandom. I was going to do a video during the week, and quite honestly, I had shit tons of work going on, so I was buried up to about there. Um, and so yes, I couldn't get to a video or anything like that. So it's going to happen in Saturday morning blast off. There's enough stuff anyway that I can impart that to you. Sunday is going to be Lovecraft Country. That's right, episode 3 of Lovecraft Country. We'll see where that's going. Monday, I'm off. Tuesday is another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And I don't know what I'm going to be doing as of yet. We'll figure something out here. Yeah, I'll figure something out by the time I post it. Wednesday, I'll be off. Thursday will probably be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And I'll probably do a throwback since it's Thursday. It'll be a throwback Thursday kind of thing. And then Friday, I'll be off. So there we go. Yeah, keep your eye on the schedule. So yeah, after next week, then we start moving into the new shows. The Boys season 2 on Amazon and Raised by Wolves on HBO. So we've got those two to look forward to. Yeah. All right. Boys by Wolves. Uh-huh. Or Wolves by Boys. Could either way. Raised by Boys. That I don't know. So I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. Yeah, that's got a good time on there. We'll go for the night. I think that'll be good. Thank you everybody who joined me tonight in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. Hopefully you guys got a chance to watch the movie. If not, go and watch it if you're, like I said, if you're a fan. If you're not a fan, uh, it's still worth the money for the most part. I mean, it's not a horrible movie. It's not a great movie. It's it's actually a middle movie out of a trilogy, is what you could say. It's a yeah. If I had to stack them up, of course, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. You're never going to capture that lightning in a bottle ever again. That is, of course, at the top. This one would be at the second for me, and then Bogus Journey would be at the bottom on that. Yeah. That's right. Like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe, as they say, because we're getting close to 1,000 subscribers. And once that happens, then I'll kick Patreon into place and we'll get stuff going there. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the very end of this video. You're going to see a video pop up here. And if you like what you see there, hit the subscribe button down there. Up here is going to be Is It Worth My Time? Muppets Now is what's going to be up there. And if you want to know when I'll be on live again next, hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. So the best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at my schedule that's up there and all the links to my social media. There we go. So with that said, thank you, everybody. I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. Don't let your door don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up having a robot, I don't know, vaporize you or trying to kill himself actually and taking you to hell with them. And then, of course, you got to meet death in order to come back. And there's all that hassle, with passports and, customs and things like that. And you don't want to deal with any of that. Thanks, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Until then, have a good night. Take care, stay safe, and be well. And be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.